Welcome to another Bookmanager tutorial. I'm Trevor, and today I'm going to show you how to make a button on your web store link to a list of books or another feature on your site. So it's a very commonly asked question. How do you make a pretty picture into a button and have it point somewhere else on your site? So for this example, we're going to make a button that will list all the current cookbooks that Mosaic Books has in store at the moment. So we're going to post this banner right on the homepage of their site, and we'll be able to then link that up to a browse filter that will only show cookbooks. So the first step in this is you need to have an image. The image, don't worry about sizing or anything else. You know, if a good rule of thumb is just to make an image choose an image that's bigger than necessary, because you can always make it smaller on the site and it will look sharp and crisp. So you don't want to choose a low resolution or small little image because it may turn out blurry. So let's go ahead and open up our website, and this is quick tip number one. You can always get to your Bookmanager web store quite quickly from your Bookmanager software. So if you're on your main options menu here and you press W for website, it will actually launch your web store's homepage as so. So that's a fast and easy way to get to your site. So we're wanting to add a image to our homepage here, a button. And so we're going to do that through the site content area here. So that's that pencil icon in the upper right hand corner. And of course, you've got to be signed in, logged in as the store to get access to this button. But once you're here, the default selection here is the home page. So what you're seeing is the content and all the content for your home page in this area here. And these are your different menus. So right now we're selected on home and we're viewing the content for that home page. So if we want to place something on, say, a different page like the About Us page or something else, I just would click here and then I can place content there. But in this case, we're just creating something on the home page. We're going to use the green Create New Content button. So click there, and we want to give our button a name, even if we're not going to show the headline because the button is going to be the visuals of it. We just still want to give it a name to find it. So we can just put in whatever we want, cookbook button. Just give it any old name that'll be easier to identify later. I'm unchecking the headline visible because I don't want any auto-formatted text at the top. I want my picture to do all the talking. And then down here we choose where on the page we want to place this button. In this case, I want it in the center of page, but you can see you've got the left of page and you've got your banner. There's also a feature option here, which is we'll get into later, but usually you're trying to place it either on the left, the center, or the banner up top. So I'm going to leave it on the center of the page. And this is where we put our images. We go into this text multimedia area here, and if you click in this box, this is where we can insert an image. And it can be done one of two ways. If you like to click and drag and drop, that's usually the fastest and quickest way. So if you want to open up your file browser, or you have your image, say saved on your desktop here, you can just have the image open and you can click and drag it right into here, and bam, it'll pop right on your page. That's one way of doing it. Another way of adding this image is to use the image button. So this button right here, you'll see it's a little picture of a mountain with a sun or a moon or something. But if you click this image button here, this will bring up a dialog box where you can then click on the Upload tab first. So the Upload, then you can click on Browse here to choose the file manually. So I can click on, oh, there it is. This is the one I want. You've got to click send it to the server, and then it adds it. So the other method, the drag and drop, was a little faster, a little more intuitive, but if you don't have the window open or don't know where, it's easier to go through window browsers or file browsers, this is another method. So I'm going to go back to the click and drag method because it's just a little quicker. Click and drag, and bang, the image is there. Now the image, I purposely made a nice large image so that it's going to look nice and sharp on 4K or high resolution displays. People these days have high resolution monitors, so I tend to design stuff extra big these days. So when they're looking at it on their fancy Retina display, Apples or whatever, it'll look sharp. So But at the same time, we do need to resize it. This is way too big. As you can see right here, we give a suggestion right at the bottom of how wide your maximum width for content. It should be, no more than 800 pixels. And it's giving you a little ruler here to show, oh, don't go outside of this. So we're way outside this, but it's easy to fix this right in here. So I want to double click the image, and you'll get a little dialog box. That same one we saw before will pop up. In this case, we can actually specify the width of this image. So it will automatically change the height as well. So we can just click in here, and I don't like to make my images the full 800 pixels. I like a little space on either side. So oftentimes I put in 720. And again, you'll notice that as soon as I type that in, under the height area, it will have resized it proportionately. The next thing I like to select is the alignment. How do you want it aligned on the page? And websites by default align everything to the left, but I prefer everything to be centered. So I'm just going to click the center button there, and then OK. And then voila, now I've got a nice centered image ready to go. The next step is to add a link, make this into a big button. The way we do that is to once again click, make sure you've clicked the image, and with the image clicked, you can click the link button here. It's a little chain link looking button, and then it's going to bring up a URL. Now this is where we need to paste where we want this button to go. So at this point, I'm going to now open up a new tab, go to my site, and figure out what I want it to link to. Now you could have done this beforehand and had the link handy, but in this case, we're just doing it on the fly. So I'm going to go to Browse, and then we can go in here, and I want to look under Subject on the Browse filters on the left here, and I'm going to go down to Cooking. And so that's going to load all cookbooks that are available to you to order and everything that's in store. So if we want to filter this list for our customers to show just what's in store, there's also another filter on the left here called Just What's in Store. So if I click that, it will now filter the list down to 726 items that are in store. We could also choose to click the What's on Order to have some forthcoming titles appear on that list as well, if we want to make it kind of a complete list. So with all these filters selected, we've got Cooking, What's in Store, What's on Order. You have a share button, a little share button at the very top here, and this is what will give you a link that we can use to link to this list and have it dynamically updated. So as you receive new cookbooks, as you sell out, as new orders are made, this list will be dynamic, selecting these filters every time. So with this selected here, I can do a Control-C or right-click copy, same thing. So I've got that URL selected. And now if I go back to my other tab where I had the link opened up here with the URL box, I can paste in that link. And if I click OK, this has now become a clickable button. And that's it. Really, all we have to do now is go down and choose Save. By default, all content is put into test mode. So it is not shown immediately to customers. It's in test mode, so you can have a look at it first before you release it. So we can go to your homepage. And again, a quick tip, if you guys didn't know, you can always click your logo in the upper left-hand corner. That will link to your homepage. It's like a quick jump. But there we go. We've got a little button here, and it's an image, and it's sized up the same width as kind of everything else I've got going on my page. And if I want to see where it goes, I can click it, and it's basically going to link to that list of cookbooks that I have that I created the link for. So lastly, if you want to make this live, if you think this is all good to go and spacing looks nice, maybe we want a little more spacing between here, we can do that at the same time. But if we want to change anything about this, we just have to hover over it and you get an edit button. And the edit button will bring it back here where we started. And this is where we could say, if I click in here, if I wanted to add some space above it or below it, if you hover close to your image, you're going to get this little red button here. And if you click it, it will add a space below. If I click it, it'll add a space above. So that's give all your content a little breathing room. And then if I want to make it live, after I've saved that, I just go to here to the visibility column here, and I click test, and then I can choose visible active. So once it's visible, now if I go back to the home page, there we go. We've got a little button made, and I don't know why the spacing didn't save. I'll have to maybe go back in. Sometimes it's a little bit of back and forth. I don't know why it didn't do that. Maybe I had to actually hit the return character. It's always a little bit of adjusting here and there. But there we go. Now I've got a button, it's live, it's ready to go. It links to my cookbooks, and it took me, a few minutes to do, but nothing requiring any special coding knowledge. So if you found these tutorials helpful, give me a thumbs up. And of course, in the comments, if you'd like to see any other tutorials and us walking you through anything else, we always like to hear about that. Tune in next week. We'll maybe have a new tutorial for you.